Oh yeah. Wait a little bit longer, see who joins. Today's gonna be a little shorter than last time. It will not be 44 minutes. It's only gonna be 10. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a part where I explain what I wanted to explain for the first 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna shut it off, reopen it back up, and only do the questions that I've been asked. That way I can separate the videos and post them on YouTube and other places. So don't get upset when I restart the video in about 10 minutes. Alright, one of the things that I get the most is how to not eat so much and kind of curb the cravings. Like, what can they do to do that? Because in a calorie deficit, you are eating less calories, so a lot of times it can be hungry a little more than normal. If you're hungry more than normal, it's going to probably happen for most people. Just how it goes. You're eating less than normal. You're restricting yourself on something. As soon as you restrict yourself on something, you kind of want more of it. So as we go through with this, again, remember this is all tips on ways to kind of help you from overeating, being hungry too much, and not being hungry too much, but just feeling hungry all the time, and ways to get around feeling hungry, whether it's 2 hours before dinner time or 2 hours after dinner time, or just really any time that you're just getting a little bit too hungry, I guess you'd say. Number one, the biggest thing that people have issues with is usually dinner time and the weekends. Those are two common areas that people always have problems keeping themselves in check and not eating too much. For everybody, it happens for me. It happens for a lot of my clients, so don't feel bad. You know, we all go through it. It's hard, it sucks sometimes, but you know, if you got a goal, we've got to reach it, so we just got to find ways to manipulate what you're doing. That way you're not overeating. Again, biggest thing is usually at dinner time, if you go out to eat, not overeating, or on the weekends when you have no schedule and majority of people go out to eat. The big thing is if you pre-eat, you're not going to go into whatever meal it is that you're starving with basically. So let's say it's your dinner time 7 p.m. and you get home at 5:30 and you're starving. You're really hungry. You're about to start cooking your meal, and guess what? You got your meal cooking and it smells phenomenal, right? So the meal smells phenomenal. You're trying your best not to nitpick. You're trying to not to snack. You know, you've got chips in the cupboard, or you've got some pita chips, you know, hummus or something like that. But your goal is, again, restrictive calories. So how do we keep from overeating those snacks between the time you start cooking and you eating? Or when you sit down at that dinner table at Jose Pepper's and they've got all those salsa and chips, and your whole goal is not, you know, to eat more than what you're supposed to eat. So like, say on the weekend you go out to Jose Pepper's, you know your meal is going to be 900 calories because you already picked it out. And so you're thinking to yourself, okay, I got 900 calories, the rest of the day I can only eat 1,000. And then you get there and there's chips and salsa, and someone orders queso dip, and someone's, you know, doing this, and now you're salivating, you're really hungry. So pre-eating, or maybe a protein shake or a protein bar, will help kill those cravings. So when you're going there, if you're not starving, you're more likely to resist the chips and salsa and the extra appetizers that your friends are buying. It helps when you get home, like on your way home to cook dinner, if you're eating a little bit of protein bar, a protein shake, an apple, anything that gets in your stomach, it will help subside the cravings from going a little nuts on that hour or 30 minutes or however long that prep time of that food's going to take, unless you have your meals prepped, which is advised, but you know, you're not always going to meal prep for you and your family. Usually going to be for you, and some days you might not, which is fine. You still need to, you know, work on ways to keep yourself from overeating during that time. And again, whether it's a protein shake or a protein bar or an apple, or for me, I personally do this every night before I go to bed, because I do have temptations at the place I'm staying at. So therefore, I have a protein shake with some spinach and a banana. Now remember, this is all calculated into my calories, so it's exactly what I need overall to get my weight loss or my cutting, season. It's summertime, everybody's cutting. So I calculate this shake every night into my calories. That way, when I have it, I'm full when I get home, or I'm at least not very hungry. So when I'm eating dinner, I'm just really eating to eat a little bit more, fill up a little bit, but I'm not starving. And that's the biggest issue. When you let yourself get to the point of being really, really hungry, you're more likely to indulge on whatever you have around, whether it's a piece of brownie, whether it's a piece of, or chips and salsa. I'm a chips and salsa guy. I love chips and salsa. I go nuts for it. But if I'm already pretty full when I get home just from drinking some spinach, drinking a protein shake with my mixture of spinach and bananas, I'm not going to overeat by any means. If anything, I'm going to have trouble finishing my dinner. So a good way to look at this is, again, how whatever fits your lifestyle. Remember, it's your lifestyle. Go with how it fits your lifestyle. Don't do what I do because I do it, because it may not work for you. That spinach shake isn't the best tasting. So for me, it works because I don't really care. I'm just going to drink it because I know if I get home, I'll overeat if I don't. But for you, maybe you make yourself, you get a certain brand of vanilla, strawberries, blueberries, a little bit of spinach, because maybe you like vanilla and berries, and that's fine. Go with that. Maybe you don't have time to blend, or maybe you can't blend on the way home. That's all right. Just have a little bit of protein shake in general. That will help subside. Again, very, very big is making sure your stomach's not empty when you go wherever you're going to go, whether you're making dinner or going out to eat. The weekends, like I said, it's huge. You are going to usually eat out on the weekends, and that's okay. Again, I don't discourage it. I don't tell you can't do it. I just say make sure it fits in your calories. So make sure before anywhere you go, plan out where you want to go, plan out what you're going to have, and then account for that protein shake or protein bar that you're going to take with you and eat it before you get there. That way you're not going to overindulge on the tons of appetizers that are making you salitate. So just kind of pre-eating is a great way to control the calories that you take in. It's huge. Now the next part is, let's see, what are you suggesting what to do if you go over your calories in a day? Should you cut back the next day or work out more? I personally, so the question is, what would you do if you do over your calories? Do you cut back the next day or do you work out more? I personally would do a little extra exercise. Makes it a little bit easier for me. I'd rather exercise than actually cut back my calories the next day. That sounds terrible. If I'm already cutting calories, I don't want to cut back anymore. I'm not going to do it. And that's me. So that's one thing. If you overdo calories, I'd say do a little bit of exercise. A little bit more, it'll be okay. Try to be really, really, really on point the rest of the week. But again, the goal is to not ever get to that point at dinner time where you're overeating. That's planning it out. That's taking time to make sure that you're not allowing yourself an amount, or you're not allowing yourself any chance to screw up. So don't, just start planning better. Don't allow yourself to get in that situation. But let's say you're a hungry person at dinner. Exactly how I am. I love dinner. It's my favorite meal. I consume a majority of my calories at night, so it allows me to be satisfied at night when I eat. So not only do I do a drink before, but I also save a lot of calories at night. Again, so if I'm at home and I'm having trouble finishing my dinner, I'd rather feel full and stuffed than feel hungry an hour later. I mean, it's terrible. Hunger is not fun. So start thinking about that. Are you a person who gets hungry at night? Oh, that's fine. If you get hungry at night, what you need to do is consume more calories at night. Cut back at breakfast, maybe cut back at lunch a little bit. You're usually working anyways, you're moving, you're not really thinking about food, so a lot of times around the work time, you're not as focused on your hunger, so don't worry about it. You cut back a little calories and focus them at night. I have some clients that don't really like dinner. That's absolutely fine. They're more a big breakfast person. Well, have your calories in the morning. That's fine, because at nighttime, if you can't eat enough, that's also not good. You don't want to get your calories low and then your metabolism drop because you can't eat enough calories to match what your lifestyle is. And if you're working out, you need calories. You have to have them. Your body uses them to build and recover, so don't ever kick yourself out of calories. It's not all don't think always eat less. It's not always good to eat less because there is a certain amount that's too low. So if you're a breakfast person and you don't like dinner, fine, eat more calories in the morning, 100%, keep it like that. That's great. Just maneuver them to where you need them the most. The next thing is just people cutting back into workout with cardio, weights, meals, etc. For the question, so I want you guys, little people here are new. I'm doing this segment. I'm going to finish out this part. I'm going to cut it off and then go live again for the second part of, the second part's going to be all questions, okay? So the first part's going to be mainly just talking about what I'm talking about. Then the second part we're going to go into, I'm going to close it down, reopen back live, and answer all questions. That way my time limit isn't so broad and it won't be so big of a deal. But so the next part is forcing yourself to eat your veggies first, then your protein, and then the higher calories like sweets and fats and things like that. So I guarantee if you fill up on a little bit of salad, you fill up on your protein, when you get to those carbs, you're not going to have as big of an issue saying no to them or overeating them. So think about it that way. Get the bland stuff out of the way, get the stuff that's going to fill you up out of the way, it's going to sit heavy in your stomach, and then go to the lighter stuff that would add too many calories at the end if you overate. You can overeat on anything, but the idea is you're probably not going to overeat on greens, and by the time you get to the protein, you're probably going to be done with, you're not going to feel as hungry when you get to the potatoes or the rice or the fries or whatever you're having for the carbs and the fats. So think about it that way. Go bland first, in a sense. Filling stuff, less calorie stuff, more dense, thick, proteins that sit heavy, and then go to the lighter fluff stuff that will a little easier to eat, but a lot of people crave a lot more. The next thing is huge, and I tell people all the time. It seems like a bodybuilder thing, but drinking a lot of water will help curb your hunger. One of the telltale signs you're thirsty, actually, and your body needs water, is it will create a sense of hunger. If you're constantly drinking water, you are going to be hungry less. It's proven. It happens all the time. Drink a lot of water. Always have a cup of water in your hand. If you're a person that wants to carry a gallon of water, carry a gallon of water. If you're a person that wants to drink, just have a glass or like those small 20 ounces of water around you, do it all the time, because if you always have water and you're always sipping on it, the hunger levels will be way, way, way lower, 100%. So that's why you see, and that's my opinion, why people first started drinking gallons of water, is because the fact that they're always thirsty, if they're always filled with water, they're never going to be as hungry. So huge, huge, huge. I guarantee it. You try to drink a gallon of water a day, you're going to see how much your hunger is going to curb, because you're always going to have something in your stomach. Your body's never going to respond to you by saying, hey, I'm thirsty, I'm going to make you feel hungry just so I get something in my system. And so it's two things that'll really, really help out in curbing that appetite. And again, you're in the game of calorie restriction. It's what it is. It's what it's all about if you're with weight loss. Or, and a majority of people we work with is weight loss, so that's kind of why I'm touching base on mainly weight loss. Eating more is usually not a problem. When you're really bulking, it can be a problem for some people if they have to eat up too much, but majority of people here are weight loss. So that's why I'm touching base on ways to keep the calorie restriction where it's at without overdoing it, but not feeling hungry all the time. So I'm going to go over everything again one more time to talk to people real quick. First, you want to pre-eat before you're going out to eat or before dinner time if you're always starving at hunger. Always do it. Protein shake, protein bar, an apple if you have to do an apple, something that sits in your stomach, something that keeps you from being hungry. The second thing is consuming most of your calories around the time that you're hungry. So if you're a big hunger person at dinner time like I am, eat majority of calories then. You'd rather be stuffed at nighttime than hungry an hour later and going to bed on a hungry stomach. It's terrible. No one wants to do it. So just kind of plan accordingly that way. The next part, force yourself to eat veggies first, then protein, and then the carbs. I guarantee it'll help you subside some of your hunger. You're not going to overeat as much of the carbs and the fatties. If, like, let's say you're doing, you've got ice cream planned into your calories at night. So if you eat your proteins, your carbs, or your proteins, your veggies, and then your carbs, you're gonna have a lot better. You're gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot easier for you not to eat and overeat the amount of ice cream that you have. If you're really full when you get to it, a couple bites, it'll do you. It'll do you, and you'll be done. But just don't allow yourself to start with the carbs. They're much easier to overeat. Much easier. Therefore, when you get to protein and the veggies that are maybe a little bit lower calories, not as dense in calories, it'll be a lot easier to it'll be easier to overeat carbs at first than if you go through veggies, protein, then carbs. So 100% easy way to do it. Last little bit, drink lots of water again. The more water you drink, the better. Again, as it will keep you filled if you're always sipping on water. You will feel better. You'll feel fuller. You won't feel near as hungry because you're always gonna have something in your stomach, and you're never gonna have that body kick on that signal. Hey, I'm thirsty. Let's make them hungry and make you feel like you need to eat when you really don't. You just need some water. Okay, so we've hit 10 minutes. This concludes the part of me telling you what to do. What I'm going to do now is finish this and reopen it back up, because now I'm going to go only questions, okay? So I finished the main part where I've got to stop because we're going to post it on YouTube and it needs to be a certain amount of time. And I'm going to reopen the question parts. And when I reopen the question part, that's going to be basically unlimited, okay? So don't hate me. I'm about to finish it and then I'm going to restart it, okay? Be right back.